Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into the fascinating world of universal laws and abundance.
Oh, it's going to be a good one.
We're cracking open holistic life coach Violet Spring's book, Abundance, the Whole Truth.
This is really foundational stuff for anyone on this journey of attracting and manifesting abundance.
Yeah, and she focuses on these first three laws, right? The ones that set the stage for everything else.
Absolutely. Vibration, rhythm, and then gender, which is also known as timing. And, a lot of people might think of these as separate concepts, but Spring really presents them as a system.
Ooh, interesting.
So it's almost like a divine order of operation.
Divine order of operation. Okay, I like that.
For not just manifesting abundance, but for everything from the patterns in nature to, even the desires in our hearts.
I'm already intrigued. Let's jump in. Starting with this law of vibration.
Okay.
So it basically says that everything in the universe is constantly moving and vibrating.
Everything's vibrating at a certain frequency.
Okay.
Right. Nothing rests, everything moves.
Right. And that includes our thoughts and feelings.
Absolutely. And here's where it gets really interesting, right? Because our thoughts and feelings have their own vibrational frequencies.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Positive thoughts have a higher frequency.
Okay.
While negative thoughts vibrate at a lower frequency.
So the universe is picking up on those frequencies?
Exactly.
Almost like tuning into a radio station or...
Precisely. The universe is responding to those frequencies that we're sending out.
Okay.
Spring uses this really great analogy in the book. She talks about a spinning top.
Okay, yeah.
When it's full of energy, it spins nice and smooth. But as it loses energy, what happens?
It starts to wobble.
Yes. It gets wobbly, and eventually it collapses. And she's saying, our energy works in a similar way. So if we're in those positive vibrations, it helps us stay aligned with abundance.
Right.
But when we're in those negative vibes, those negative vibrations, that's when we start to create obstacles.
So that means, if I'm stuck in this negative thought spiral, I'm actually attracting more of what I don't want.
You got it. It can be a little unsettling to think about that, but it's also incredibly empowering. Because it means that we have more control than we realize.
You can shift it.
Absolutely. And Spring actually highlights this in her book. She says, let me get the quote right. Hold on. The universe responds to energy. The higher the frequency, the more positive the transmission being broadcast.
That's good.
Really makes you think about what areas of your life might need a little vibration boost. You know what I mean?
It does, yeah. Food for thought, for sure. Okay, so then where does this law of rhythm fit into all of this?
Well, the law of rhythm reminds us that everything operates in cycles, right?
Okay. Everything
in the universe has its natural ebb and flow.
No.
Spring points out that, it's so easy to get caught up in wanting constant happiness, constant success. We want everything to be perfect all the time.
Right. We want to avoid those lows.
But the reality is, life just isn't like that.
Yeah, no, it's true. It's ups and downs.
Yeah, and so this law isn't about avoiding those negative parts of the cycle. It's about learning to flow with them.
Okay.
Think about it this way. Our physical bodies, they need rest after we exert ourselves.
Right, of course.
Well, our mental and emotional states, they need time to recover and recalibrate too.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So bringing it back to abundance, when we resist those natural rhythms, we create friction.
Right.
And that friction blocks abundance from flowing to us.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
It's like, she has this analogy. She talks about the universe as this vast swirling vortex.
Ooh, I like that.
Of energy, right? So to attract what we desire, we have to be in sync with that universal flow.
Okay.
And she even says, the law of rhythm is all about going with the flow.
Going with the flow. I love that.
Right. It's surrender. Yeah. It's trust. It's really beautiful.
Yeah, but that begs the question: how do we actually do that? How do we get in sync with these universal rhythms?
It's a great question. One we should definitely explore further. But first, maybe we should introduce the third law in this divine order of operation.
Okay, yeah, let's do it.
The law of gender, also known as the law of timing.
Timing. Okay, so this is all about the when of abundance.
You got it.
There's a perfect moment for everything.
Exactly. And she uses this really wonderful analogy. She compares it to synchronized swimmers.
Oh.
Right? Their movements are so precise.
Yeah.
And they're so harmonious. And that's because they've mastered timing and coordination, right?
Yeah.
So she's saying that we need to find that synchronization.
Okay.
Between our internal vibration, our rhythm, and this universal flow in order to manifest what we desire.
So it's like we can have the right energy and be in sync with those natural rhythms.
Mm-hmm.
But if our timing's off, it's still not going to work.
That's exactly what she suggests. Yeah, and to explain this, she brings in this really fascinating concept called the Akashic Records. Have you heard of this?
Vaguely?
Okay, so imagine like this cosmic database.
Okay.
That stores every thought, every word, every action we've ever taken.
Everything.
It's a lot, right?
It's a lot of data.
It is. But she says the universe uses this information to process our requests.
Wow.
Taking into account the vibration, the rhythm, and the timing of our intentions.
It's a lot to consider.
It is, yeah. And she even says in the book, abundance is administered through sequence and timing.
So it's like the universe is evaluating our requests and then deciding, like, when's the optimal time for them to manifest.
You could put it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, and sometimes, that perfect timing might not align with our own, impatient desires, which is why trusting in this process can be so challenging. But understanding this law can really help us surrender to the unfolding of our lives with more grace.
And acceptance.
Yes, absolutely. It's fascinating how she connects these, like, seemingly abstract laws to something as tangible as weather patterns.
Oh, right. Like how the Earth rotates around the sun.
Exactly.
Creating these predictable cycles of the seasons.
Yeah, and each season has its own, like, distinct energy,
Yeah.
Which is a perfect example of this divine order of operation at work.
Okay.
So the law of vibration, right, that's the fuel.
Okay.
That's the energy. It's driving the Earth's rotation.
Okay.
And then the law of rhythm. That's what governs those cyclical seasonal changes.
Okay, yeah.
And then the law of gender, that element of timing.
Yeah.
That's what makes sure everything unfolds in the right sequence.
Like we can't just will away winter.
Exactly.
Or rush the arrival of spring. Like there's a natural rhythm to it.
Yeah.
But are you saying these same principles apply to manifesting abundance in our own lives?
That's exactly what Violet Spring suggests. Yeah, so think of the universe as this vast, intricate highway of energy.
Okay, I'm visualizing this cosmic highway.
I love that. And our thoughts, our feelings, our intentions, they're all creating these frequencies that are traveling along this highway.
So are we like the little cars, zipping along, trying to reach our destination of abundance?
That's a great analogy, but here's the thing. Our negative thoughts, those limiting beliefs we all carry around, those can create roadblocks.
Oh, no.
Detours on this highway. They can even cause accidents.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Disrupting that flow of abundance towards us.
So it's like when you're running late and you hit every red light.
Exactly.
It's like the universe is tapping the brakes. Like, hold on, let's reassess this route.
Yeah, exactly. And she also reminds us that abundance isn't always about, attracting more money or material possessions. Sometimes it's about attracting more of what we don't want.
Okay.
Especially if our frequencies are out of alignment.
Oh, that's a scary thought.
It is.
So if I'm constantly dwelling on what I lack or giving in to fear and doubt, I could actually be attracting more of those experiences.
It's a tough truth, but yes. It's like tuning your radio to a station that only plays sad songs, You're just going to keep hearing more of the same.
Right.
But the good news is we have the power to change the station.
Okay, good. So how do we do that?
Yeah.
How do we shift those frequencies to attract the abundance we actually want? Is it as simple as just thinking positive thoughts?
Well, positive thinking is definitely a part of it.
Okay.
But it's not the whole picture. Remember, it's about aligning our vibration, our rhythm, and our timing with that universal flow.
Right. Let's break that down. What does it actually mean to align our vibration?
Well, it starts with becoming aware of the energy that we're putting out into the world.
Okay.
Right? Are we dwelling in negativity? Or are we consciously cultivating joy, gratitude, love? These are the emotions that vibrate at a higher frequency and therefore attract more of the same.
Makes sense. And what about aligning our rhythm? How do we get in sync with those universal cycles?
Well, that involves recognizing and honoring our own natural rhythms, right?
Okay.
Are we pushing ourselves beyond our limits?
Yeah.
Or are we allowing time for rest and rejuvenation?
Yeah.
Are we working with our natural energy cycles?
Right.
Or are we constantly fighting against them?
So much of this seems to be about like self-awareness.
Yes.
And really tuning into our own internal signals.
Absolutely. And then, of course, there's that law of gender, that concept of timing. And this is where trust and surrender become essential.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
It is.
Especially in a world that's so focused on like instant gratification. Like how do we learn to trust divine timing when we're so used to trying to control everything?
It's a challenge for sure. But Violet Spring encourages us to remember that the universe operates on a different time scale than we do.
Right.
And just because things aren't happening according to our preferred schedule, that doesn't mean they're not in motion.
It's like that saying, you know, good things come to those who wait.
Right.
But waiting's so hard.
Yeah.
Do you have any practical advice for like cultivating more patience and trust in this process?
She suggests we shift our focus, right? So instead of fixating on the destination, the end goal, try appreciating the journey itself.
Okay.
Each step, each experience, even the challenges are all part of this process of getting us to where we need to be.
So it's about being present.
Yes.
Enjoying the ride.
Yes.
And trusting that the universe is unfolding things in perfect timing.
Exactly.
Even if we can't see the bigger picture yet.
And remember that concept of the Akashic records we talked about earlier? It plays a crucial role in this idea of divine timing.
Okay, yeah, remind me about that again.
Okay.
It's such a mind-blowing concept. All of our thoughts and actions from like our entire existence recorded somewhere in the cosmos.
Imagine it like a cosmic library.
Okay.
That holds the record of our soul's journey.
Wow.
And according to her, the universe might actually be using this information to guide us towards our highest potential.
Wow.
Even if our current desires aren't quite aligned with that path.
So it's like sometimes what we think we want might not actually be in our best interest.
Yeah.
And the universe is like subtly redirecting us.
It's a fascinating possibility, isn't it?
It is, yeah.
And it really highlights the importance of aligning our desires with our soul's true purpose.
Right, yeah.
You know, not just chasing after fleeting whims
right.
or desires that might not serve us in the long run.
Yeah, it makes me think about those times when I've like really, really wanted something, but it just never materialized.
Yeah.
Maybe it was the universe's way of like gently steering me in a different direction.
Perhaps. And those redirected desires, they don't just disappear, right?
Oh.
She suggests they're actually held within our soul's record, in the Akashic records.
Wow.
Waiting for the optimal moment to manifest.
That's actually quite comforting in a way. Like nothing is ever truly wasted.
Right.
Even the desires that don't come to fruition right away.
Exactly. It speaks to a deeper intelligence at work, you know, like this benevolent force that's always guiding us towards what's truly best for our soul's evolution.
This is all so incredibly complex and nuanced. How do we even begin to like grasp the vastness of the universe and these universal laws?
It's a journey of exploration and discovery. And it begins with curiosity and a willingness to surrender to the mystery. We don't need to have all the answers.
Right.
But we can just trust the process and keep asking questions.
So it's more about like embracing the unknown.
Yes.
And trusting in the unfolding of our lives.
Absolutely.
Rather than trying to like force understanding.
Yes.
Or control the outcome.
Precisely. And as we go deeper into Violet Spring's teachings, we'll actually discover a lot of practical tools and techniques to help us really align with these laws and create a life of abundance and joy.
Right. So we've talked about aligning our vibration, rhythm, and timing with that universal flow. To attract abundance. It all sounds incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
But I have to admit, a part of me is still wondering, like, how do we actually do that?
Yeah.
You know, it still feels a bit esoteric.
Yeah, I understand. It's one thing to like grasp these concepts intellectually.
Right.
But it's another thing entirely to actually put them into practice in our everyday lives.
Right, exactly.
The good news is, Violet Spring offers some really practical guidance in the book.
Okay, good.
She emphasizes the importance of becoming conscious creators.
Conscious creators? What does that even mean?
It means taking responsibility for the energy that we are putting out into the world.
Okay.
You know, it's about making deliberate choices that support the outcomes that we desire, rather than just like wishing and hoping for things to change.
So it's about like taking an active role and shaping our reality.
Exactly.
Rather than just being like passive observers.
You got it. And she suggests specific practices like meditation, visualization, and gratitude journaling.
Okay.
As incredibly powerful tools for raising our vibration.
Right.
And getting clear about our intentions.
Yeah, I've definitely dabbled in those practices before.
Yeah.
With varying degrees of success.
Mm-hmm.
But let's be honest. Life gets pretty messy.
It does.
And unpredictable.
Mm-hmm.
How are we supposed to stay aligned with these universal laws when we're, dealing with everyday stress and challenges and setbacks?
Well, that's where the law of rhythm becomes so important. Spring reminds us that life is this dance of ebb and flow. Yeah. There will be periods of expansion and high energy. And there will be times when we need to rest, recharge, reflect.
Yeah.
It's about learning to ride those waves.
So it's okay to have those down days.
Absolutely.
Or weeks even, when we feel out of sync. It's not about forcing ourselves to be positive all the time.
Not at all. In fact, resisting those natural rhythms is what creates more friction and disharmony. It's about recognizing those low points as opportunities for introspection and growth.
Okay.
Allowing ourselves to retreat and recalibrate before we step back into the flow.
That's a much more forgiving perspective than I think a lot of self-help books promote.
Mm-hmm.
It feels more human, more realistic.
It is. And she even gives some suggestions for practical ways to honor those rhythms. Spending time in nature, listening to calming music, engaging in activities that bring us joy. These are all ways to kind of reconnect with our inner rhythm and restore that sense of balance.
Those are all lovely ideas. But what about that law of gender, that timing? How do we surrender to divine timing when we're so conditioned for instant gratification and control?
That's one of the biggest challenges of modern life. But spring encourages us to remember that the universe operates on its own grand timeline.
Okay.
And just because things aren't happening according to our schedule, it doesn't mean they're not in motion.
Easier said than done.
It is. It is.
Patience is not a virtue that comes easily to me.
Mm-hmm.
Any tips for cultivating more trust in the process?
Well, she suggests shifting our perspective.
Okay.
So instead of focusing on that end goal, try to appreciate the journey itself. Each step, each experience, even the obstacles are contributing to our growth and leading us toward our ultimate destination.
So it's about finding the beauty in the present moment.
Yes.
Rather than constantly chasing after, what's next.
Exactly. And practices like mindfulness, affirmations, surrendering our desires to a higher power, these can all help us release that anxiety.
Right.
And cultivate a deeper faith in the unfolding of our lives.
So it's about shifting our mindset from, I need this now.
Yeah.
To I trust that this is all happening in perfect divine order, even if I don't fully understand it yet.
That's beautifully said. And when we can surrender to that flow, we open ourselves up to receiving abundance in ways we might never have imagined.
Right.
Sometimes what we think we want, it might not actually be in our best interest. And the universe might be subtly redirecting us towards something even more fulfilling.
That's such an important reminder. It's we need to loosen our grip on the reins a little bit and allow the universe to guide us towards our highest good.
I agree. And that trust, that surrender, that's ultimately where true abundance resides.
This has been such an illuminating exploration of these first 3 universal laws. I feel like I have a whole new framework for understanding how energy works and how I can actively participate in creating the life that I desire.
And remember, this is just the beginning.
Oh, right.
There are many more universal laws to discover.
Yeah.
Each offering its own wisdom and guidance on the path to living a more abundant and joyful life.
So, dear listener, as we wrap up this deep dive, we invite you to contemplate how you can apply these universal laws in your own life.
Yeah.
How can you raise your vibration, align your rhythms, and trust in divine timing to attract the abundance that you truly desire? Keep exploring, keep questioning, and most importantly, keep trusting in the unfolding of your unique journey. Until next time.
Being a soul star is easy. Just like and subscribe to join the journey. Thanks for watching.